Hi, students. Good afternoon to all of you. Today, in continuation with our fiction unit, today I'll be taking Jane Austen in continuation with the major novelists which we were doing in the last session. Jane Austen. Jane Austen was born in 1775. You can note it down. And where she was born? She was born in Hampshire. And she was the seventh child of eight, total eight, and she was the seventh child. And apart from being taught by the sister of one of her uncles in 1783 in Oxford, and a short time in a reading boarding school, that is from 1785, her education took place within the confines of her own family. Her father was having a well stocked library, and she was encouraged, motivated to read a lot, and she used to take particularly a lot of happiness and pleasure in especially the 18th century novels. And by the time she matured herself to the age of 1920, she had already begun to write novels which later on became so famous. And those novels are Sense and Sensibility, Northanger Abbey, Pride and Prejudice. And at this stage, the novels were called Eleanor and Mariana, Susan, and First Impressions, respectively. But what happened? Her father invited a publisher for what? To inspect that he should basically have an inspection over the version of his most famous Pride and Prejudice, which was written in 1797. And that publisher refused even to look at it. So during her early 20s, Jane Austen's life was not very dissimilar to the ones her characters led, and she spent a lot of time where at social events, dances, and even parties. Austen also enjoyed serious courtships. Matlab, there is little evidence that she had enjoyed any serious courtships while she was living at that is the places Steventon. There is no evidence of it. So in 1800, Austen's father retired and decided to move to a different place. And while on holiday, Austen discovered a mutual attraction with an unnamed, unknown man who promptly died. It is thought that this might have served as a model for a similar incident in which of his novels. इसमें ऐसा इंसिडेंट जो मैंने आपको एग्जाम्पल में बताया, ऐसा उसके साथ हुआ है, या ऐसा सिमिलर इंसिडेंट उसकी नॉवेल में पाया जाता है, और उस नॉवेल का नाम है परसुएशन. Persuasion. And around the same time, she returned to Steventon to visit her brother, who was now the rector in her father's old parish. And there she received a proposal of marriage from a friend of her brother. उसके भाई का दोस्त था वो, and he was a rich landowner जिसका नाम था Harris, Harris. She accepted the proposal, but the following morning changed her mind, apparently because he was too big and awkward. तो शायद आपको जेन ऑस्टन के बारे में ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पहलू हैं जो आपको पता भी होने चाहिए, बिकॉज शी इज अ ग्रेट राइटर. एंड इन 1803 Jane Austen managed to sell Northanger Abbey finally to a publisher for some £10 or so, although the publisher subsequently decided not to publish it again. And when in 1805 Jane Austen's father died, he left the remaining Austen family largely dependent on Austen's brother, and the living or the livelihood coming to the reduced circumstances. So the family moved around the south of England for many number of years, and Jane Austen, on the other hand, resumed her literary activities. And after resuming these literary activities in 1811, she published Sense and Sensibility, which got not very much success, but moderate success. Yes, this Sense and Sensibility was published anonymously, and the designation was by a lady. No name, nothing, no signature. The only thing written by it is written by a lady. And the family were under the strict instructions not to reveal her identity. And encouraged by the success of this novel, Sense and Sensibility, she started revising Pride and Prejudice and published that in 1813, where she sold the selling rights to one of the best selling books of all time in £110 only. और इसके अगले साल उसने पब्लिश किया नॉवल जिसका नाम है मैन्सफील्ड पार्क. 1815 में she published Emma and dedicated this novel to the Prince Regent, who was apparently a great fan of Jane Austen's novels. Though this novel proved successful, a second edition of Mansfield Park was not and ate up most of the profit from Emma. मतलब जितनी भी पैसा आ रहा था वो बेसिकली एमा से आ रहा था. And towards the end of 1816, Austen had finished writing Persuasion, although it was only published posthumously, means after her death. किसने छापा? By her brother. और उस भाई ने जो उसको posthumously छपवाया था, this novel Persuasion was published posthumously by her brother, together with which novel? Together with Northanger Abbey. 1817 आते आते Austen became quite ill, and although she started writing another novel early in the year, maybe by March, she was forced to give up the task. She made her will a month later and moved to Winchester in May for her medical treatment, and she died in July 1817 with some disease. Whereafter she was buried in Winchester Cathedral. उसको जो बरी किया गया है उसकी जगह का नाम है विंचेस्टर कैथेड्रल. And the principal works, which I would again suggest you to write it down and go for it in detail as far the storyline and the characters is concerned. Most of the novels you will find in my study material too. Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, Mansfield Park, Emma, Northanger Abbey, and Persuasion. So these are the 6 novels which as a student of English literature, you must know the description, the storyline in summary with the names of the characters too. So now, the second novelist today, which I'm going to take with you, is Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley, MWS. Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley was born in 1797 in London. And yes, who was her father? A great political reformer and philosopher, William Godwin. And her mother was Mary Wollstonecraft. Mary Wollstonecraft is known for writing A Vindication of the Rights of Woman, which is a great work. Shelley's mother fell ill immediately after giving birth to her daughter and died within 10 days due to some fever. So, some years later, Godwin again married Mary Jane Clairmont. Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley. Students, I would just like to know, because I think I have taught this some in the last lecture, if I'm not wrong. Somewhere, can you tell me? I have, क्योंकि मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि मैंने आपको जेन ऑस्टन तो शायद नहीं पढ़ाया था, लेकिन मैरीज वोल्स्टोनक्राफ्ट मुझे याद आया पढ़ाते पढ़ाते कि शायद मैं पढ़ा चुका हूं. सो मुझे मैसेज पे जरा बताइए. यस 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 यस. तो मैं भूल गया था कि मैंने ये पढ़ा दिया है. बट यस, जेन ऑस्टन तो नहीं पढ़ाया था ना? जेन ऑस्टन. नहीं, just yes or no. Have I taught Jane Austen in my last lecture, or it was new for you? ओके, नो, दिस मीन्स कि वो ठीक था. चलिए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. मुझे एकदम से पढ़ाते हुए एकदम वो गॉडविन का नाम जब मैंने लिया तो मुझे याद आया, ये तो मैं पढ़ा चुका हूं. नो इश्यूज. नाउ आई विल स्टार्ट विद द नेक्स्ट, दैट इज आर एल स्टीवेंसन. आर एल स्टीवेंसन का पूरा नाम है रॉबर्ट लुइस स्टीवेंसन. Robert Louis Stevenson was born in 1850 in Edinburgh, and his father was Thomas Stevenson. And who was Thomas Stevenson? Father of R.L. Stevenson. He was an engineer, and his mother was Margaret Isabel Balfour. एक चीज ध्यान रखिएगा कि पूरा नाम आर.एल. स्टीवेंसन का क्या है. देखिए, इसमें बैलफोर भी लगा है. RLBS, ध्यान रखिएगा. RLBS. B stands for BALFOUR. Robert Louis Balfour Stevenson, born 1850. And his father was Thomas Stevenson, who was an engineer, and his mother was Margaret Isabel Balfour. Margaret Isabel Balfour basically came from a family of lawyers and churchmen. And when Stevenson was a child, he was very much suffering by ill health and continually suffered a lot because of bouts of tuberculosis, टीबी का अटैक, जिसके वजह से वो अपना बेड नहीं छोड़ पाता था, ड्यू टू विच ही वाज नॉट एबल टू लीव हिज बेड. एंड in spite of that, he made himself forced to account by writing or inventing stories even before he could actually read. And by the time he was 16 years of age, he composed his first historical tale. And after that, when he entered in the Edinburgh University, where he was intending to try it for the engineering and follow the father's footsteps to become an engineer and to follow the family's business. उसके फैमिली का जो बिजनेस था वो लाइट हाउस का बिजनेस था. And Stevenson realized about his plan, about his poor health, and switched to study the subject of law, left the engineering. And so in 1875, he was even called to the Scottish bar. But by the time he was called to the Scottish bar, he had decided that he would become a writer rather than pursuing a career in law. And it was during this period when he was traveling various parts of Europe that he met Fanny Osborne, Fanny Osborne. She was an American woman with whom R.L. Stevenson fell in love, despite the fact that this lady was married already with 2 children. And when she returned to the United States, for what? To get a divorce, R.L. Stevenson followed her to California, where they married in 1880. And an account of their honeymoon, Stevenson has written in his work known as the Silverado Squatters. Silver से लिखिए Silverado. Silverado Squatters in 1883. Students, is there any technical problem coming right now? Because one of my student, Pridarshini Amrita, she is saying that there is some technical problem. So only Amrita is facing, or all of you are facing? Because from here everything is superb. All things going fine with the. All of you are comfortable with the class. That is the internet or the bandwidth connected from this side. So what is the problem coming, Jatin? क्या problem आ रही है? अच्छा, some of the students have said no sir, there is no problem, everything is fine. अच्छा, Shreya, everything is fine. Okay, Asha, everything fine. Yes, all no problem. So, okay, students, major of the students are saying that they have no problem. Maybe somebody, you might be facing some problem only just because of the local network. So, वो वहां की प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है, बट नो इश्यूज. अगर कोई दिक्कत होती भी है तो इन केस प्रॉब्लम आ रही है तो यू कैन गो फॉर द रिकॉर्डिंग सेशन आफ्टरवर्ड्स. सो यस, उसने उस पूरे डिटेल्स को अपनी बुक में लिखा जिसका नाम है सिल्वराडो स्क्वाटर्स इन 1883. इस समय तक आरएल स्टीवेंसन ने अपने को एस्टैब्लिश कर लिया था कि वो एक ट्रैवल राइटर बनेगा. मतलब ही विल बी ट्रैवलिंग एंड राइटिंग, जिसको कहते हैं ट्रैवलॉग्स, और काफी अच्छा काम करेगा. एंड सो ही स्टार्टेड कंपोजिंग हिज कंपोजिशन ऑफ शॉर्ट स्टोरीज, which is well known in the entire world, that is known as New Arabian Nights. New Arabian Nights is a collection of short stories in 1882. And because of this New Arabian Nights, He earned a lot of reputation as a great writer of fiction. And yes, don't forget that he is uh, a novelist who has written Treasure Island. Treasure Island. I still remember when I was in my school days, that is seventh, eighth, and ninth. I still remember the brown cover page of my book, which was in my school days, and that is Treasure Island. So he also wrote Treasure Island, and this became one of his masterpieces too. And in 1885, Stevenson and his, uh, you can say, um, family 1885 में 1885 में उसकी फैमिली जो थी, दे मूव्ड टू अ प्लेस, आई एम फॉरगेटिंग दैट प्लेस, जहां पे they moved to a place where he actually made acquaintance with हेनरी जेम्स. हेनरी जेम्स, यस, याद आ गया मुझे. उसकी मुलाकात हेनरी जेम्स से हुई और भी बहुत सारे लिटरेरी फिगर्स के साथ. एंड उसके बाद 1886 में 1886 में स्टीवेंसन पब्लिश्ड a work, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The Strange Case, CASE, of Dr. Jekyll, JEKYLL, and Mr. Hyde, HYDE, Hyde. And this novel was well received by the critics, and he was so well received that R.L. Stevenson again got encouragement to write a novel, The Master of Ballantrae. This novel is also asked in the exam. Who has written The Master of Ballantrae? Ballantrae की स्पेलिंग है BALLANTRAE. और बहुत सारे ऐसे राइटर्स हैं, क्रिटिक्स हैं, जिनका यह मानना है कि स्टीवेंसन का जो बेस्ट वर्क है, दैट शुड बी कंसीडर्ड द मास्टर ऑफ बैलेंट्रे, दो ट्रेजर आइलैंड इज मोर पॉपुलर. यहां पे 1889 में जब उसने मास्टर ऑफ बैलेंट्रे को पब्लिश कराया और वो उसका अच्छा सपोर्ट मिला, बाय दिस टाइम स्टीवेंसन अगेन सेट ऑफ ऑन अ वॉयज. किधर? टुवर्ड्स द साउथ पैसिफिक. एंड दिस टाइम ही टुक along with him the whole family. He went to many islands. He went to a place where he wanted to settle down, and this settlement to a beneficial move for his health. कभी कभी आपने देखा होगा कि लोग कंट्री बदल देते हैं, स्टेट बदल देते हैं, एनवायरनमेंट बदल देते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ देयर हेल्थ. डॉक्टर सजेस्ट करते हैं कि आपको गर्म नहीं, आपको ठंडा एनवायरनमेंट चाहिए. एंड दिस प्रूव्ड when he went to some island to settle there with his family, उसके हेल्थ के लिए बहुत अच्छा था, and his output also increased despite problems with Fanny, who suffered from a mental breakdown. बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स आई फैनी के साथ, उसकी वाइफ, जिसको मेंटल प्रॉब्लम आ गई थी, but he increased his output in spite of the fact that his wife was suffering from mental breakdown. And he even composed, उसने क्या कंपोज किया? करस्पॉन्डेंस ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ द आइलैंडर्स, जहां पे वो रुका था. एंड इवेंचुअली, however, a lifetime of bad health caught up with Stevenson and died on 1894, 3rd December. 3 दिसंबर 1894 को उसकी डेथ हो गई. Now, once again, I will just repeat the principal works of R.L. Stevenson. That is New Arabian Nights, 1882, Treasure Island, 1883. 1886 में दो वर्क हैं. एक वर्क जो मैंने आपको बताया, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And the most popular, आप शायद भूल गए या आपको याद हो तो मुझे मैसेज पे बताएं कि हाँ, ये वर्क भूल गए हम लोग, विच इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट पॉपुलर इन द एंटायर वर्ल्ड. मतलब जैसे ट्रेजर आइलैंड है, उससे भी ज्यादा वो वर्क का नाम बताएं, मैसेज पे हमें तुरंत बताएं, देखें में सबसे तेज कौन बताता है। फास्ट। आरएल स्टीवेंसन दो ही वर्क के नाम से जाना जाता है, एक है ट्रेजर आइलैंड और एक दूसरा कौन सा है, जो ये भी वर्क वो है जो बच्चे स्कूल डेज में उनको प्रिस्क्राइब्ड होती है इसकी स्टोरी। आई एम वेटिंग फॉर द मैसेज स्टूडेंट्स, फास्ट बताइए। नॉट एबल टू रिकलेक्ट, ये भी 1886 का है वर्क। Very strange students, you are not able to remember. This is, I am still waiting. This is Kidnapped, Treasure Island and Kidnapped by R.L. Stevenson. How so many students could not tell me? Kidnapped. So 1886 में दो थे, Kidnapped और The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and 1889 में था The Master of Ballantrae. Clear? Now, today, after these novelists, somewhere I feel that I should start some other literatures as well, so that a little bit of monotony may be broken from my end also and from your end also. So in that case, a very important literature which I want to start today is ब्लैक लिटरेचर, जिसको हम लोग अफ्रीकन लिटरेचर भी कहते हैं। अफ्रीकन लिटरेचर, व्हाट इज अफ्रीकन लिटरेचर? African literature is literature of and for America, from Africa. African literature is a literature of and from Africa. This literature consists of a body of work in different languages and various genres ranging from oral literature to literature written in the colonial languages, that is French, English, etc. Oral literature, including stories, histories, riddles, myths, proverbs, and so many other expressions, is time to time employed to educate, to give education and amusement and entertainment to children. Oral histories, myths, proverbs, they are also serving additionally to remind the whole communities of their ancestors' heroic deeds, जो आपके ancestors पहले कर आए हैं, उनका जो past है, and the precedents for their customs and traditions. Some of the first African writings to gain attention in the West were the slave narratives. Such interesting narratives of the life and adventures of Alauda Equiano, he was an African, which actually describes the vivid horrors of slavery and slave trade. As Africans became literate day by day in their own languages, they started reacting against the colonial repressions in their writings. And since the early 19th century, writers from Western Africa have been using newspapers to uplift themselves, to write themselves according to their views. And after the World War II, as Africans began demanding their independence, more African writers started publishing. And such writers as in Western Africa, like Wole Soyinka, Chinua Achebe, Bain Okri, and in Western Africa, like Ngugi wa Thiong'o, Jakes, etc., etc. They produce poetry, short stories, novels, essays, and plays. All were writing in the European languages, and often they shared the same themes. The clash between the indigenous and the colonial cultures, condemnation of the European subjugation, pride in the African part, and hope for the continent's independent future. If we talk about South Africa, the horrors until the present dominated the literature. Godimer, Bessie Head, Coetzee, etc., all reflecting in various degrees in their writings the experience of living in a racial segregated society. Much of the contemporary African literature is revealing disillusionment and dissent with the current events going on. So, students, the first and the most important and the major writer to be discussed with all of you is no other than but Chinua Achebe. So this lecture is actually going to help you a lot in understanding the black literature as well as the real gems of the African novelist or dramatist or poets. And the biggest name which you might have heard or read in your post-graduation, a very prominent name in black literature is Chinua Achebe, who was born in Ogidi, Ogidi. And where is Ogidi? It is in eastern Nigeria. ईस्टर्न नाइजीरिया में एक जगह पड़ती है 1930 में ये पैदा हुआ था एंड his parents, though they instilled in him many of the values of their traditional Igbo culture. इनके यहाँ Igbo culture चलता है IGBO. बहुत इग्बो इग्बो कल्चर इन्होंने इनके पेरेंट्स ने चिनुआ अचेबे में ट्रेडिशनल डाला गया था. They were actually devout evangelical Protestants. So his childhood was marked by a rich ambivalence of a complex inheritance. Chinua Achebe attended mission schools and remained emotionally very close to many of his relatives who were not Christians. And in 1944, Achebe got enrolled at a very prestigious government college in Umuahia. Umuahia की spelling है UMUAHIA. 4 साल के बाद, after 4 years studying in this government college in Umuahia, he entered London affiliated college at Ibadan. Ibadan, IBADEN, Ibadan. और वहां पे क्या करने गया? He went there, he took the admission there in this college to study medicine. But it was not his cup of tea. He abandoned medicine in favor of literature, in favor of philosophy, and in favor of history. And he became involved in a variety of political and cultural activities on campus. And he started editing Ibadan's University Herald. जिस यूनिवर्सिटी में था उसकी एक न्यूज जर्नल निकलती थी, उसका नाम था यूनिवर्सिटी हेराल्ड. उसको वो एडिट करने लग गया. And to which he also started contributing essays and short fictions and also wrote occasional commentaries for some publications. और एक पब्लिकेशन का नाम है जिसमें वो कमेंट्रीज दिया करता था, और ये नाम बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. इसका नाम है बग एंड ईगल. Bug and Eagle. So when he graduated in 1953, He joined the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation, NBC. ग्रेजुएट करने के बाद उसने क्या ज्वाइन कर लिया? नाइजीरियन ब्रॉडकास्टिंग कॉरपोरेशन. एंड in 1958 he published his first novel. And what is that novel? Things Fall Apart. एक बड़ी reputed educational book कंपनी थी जिसका नाम था Henneman. Henneman Educational Books published it, but reluctantly, because the editors were not very sure if this work could lie in isolation, कि कहीं ये अकेला ना पड़ जाए मार्केट में. And so what happened that for Achebe, or you can say to Achebe, the artist is an integral part of his or her community. What he is creating, what she is creating, therefore must have some functional value and relevance also to those individuals who make up that community. So we can say that to Achebe, art, kala and political concerns, चाहे वो लोकल लेवल के हों, चाहे वो ग्लोबल लेवल के हों, are not mutually exclusive. He insists that the artist has an obligation to remain committed to the well-being of his or her people. He defines himself as a cultural nationalist with a revolutionary mission. ये बहुत बड़ी बात थी. इसका मतलब ये होता है कि to help my society regain belief in itself and put away the complexes of the years of degeneration and self-abasement. We will talk about some of his major works and the themes which are connected with those major works, which constitute you students for your examination and for your nurturing of your subconscious with the black literature. Because आज के ज़माने में, in the today's world, black literature is supposed to be at the top in the entire world of universities. देखिए, इसका जो ऑब्सेसिव थीम है, ऑब्सेसिव थीम कि किस चीज से ये ऑब्सेस रहता है, आपका ये चिनुए अचीबे, हिस्ट्री, एंड हिस्ट्री से कैसे हम उसके टर्म्स में आए, द स्ट्रगल टू कम टू टर्म्स विद हिस्ट्री has always been an obsessive theme in basically all the post-colonial literatures. Post-colonial literatures जितने भी हैं, सब में आपको यही थीम मिलेगा, इतिहास और उससे कैसे स्ट्रगल करके उनसे टर्म्स में आए. And our coming to terms with our problematic historical inheritance is essential for racial self-retrieval, for forging an authentic and liberating sense of personal and cultural wholeness. Why? Because somewhere or the other, our meaningful reconnection with the history is indispensable for healing the cultural fracture caused by the impact of the colonial intrusion. So it is somewhere precisely that the fundamental nexus between establishing a valid connection with the past and achieving a wholesome sense of self that prompts the post colonial writer to engage in a constant dialogue with history. And a landmark piece of the post colonial fiction is Things Fall Apart, which is set in the Igbo village of Imofia in the eastern Nigeria, and the action takes place during the closing decades of the 19th century. The narrative, which is divided into three parts, focuses on the rise and fall of its protagonist, and the name of the protagonist is Okonwo, OKON. इसको लिख लीजिएगा, ओकॉन, KWO, ये इसका प्रोटैगनिस्ट है. So while Chinua Achebe is mapping the course of the protagonist's life in this work, he is managing to provide a memorable recreation of Igbo's culture, Igbo's life before, during, and immediately also after the British colonial intrusion. पहला पार्ट में क्या दिखाते हैं? That Okonwo is in the tribal setting and he is haunted, you can say, he is haunted by the night of savagery from which the first Europeans acting on God's behalf delivered them. Then there is a novel known as No Longer at Ease. This is Chinua Achebe's second novel, published in 1960. And the center of this play, of this novel, is Obi. And who is Obi? He is the son of Noe. Noe की spelling है Nwoye. And he is also the grandson of Okonwo. जैसा कि आपने Things Fall Apart में देखा. So here the narrative records the rise and fall of the protagonist. So the novel, this Things Fall Apart, nahi, ye wali, No Longer at Ease, begins with the trial of Obi, and a promising young official in the Nigerian civil service who has been arrested on charges of bribery. इसके साथ ऐसी घटना घटी थी. A brilliant student in the village, Obi is sponsored by the Imofia Union to study at the English University, and upon his return, he enters the prestigious civil services, and he is unable basically to integrate himself with the values, and he finds himself rootless somewhere alienated. So he rejects certain Igbo cultural practices, and those Igbo cultural practices, we can say something like caste system, and yet he does not have that moral courage to marry his girlfriend Clara, because his parents violently object to having a daughter-in-law who is from the OSU background, OSU. Yes, Nisarga, I am very much in the class. Sushmita, what you have written, I am unable to understand. Sabiers in English. So now the class. Say, please say bye. Please, sir, please say bye years in English. Okay. So he could not marry his girlfriend Clara because his parents violently object to having an affair or marriage with daughter-in-law. Daughter-in-law जो है ओसू background की नहीं होनी चाहिए. So his failure to formulate a coherent set of moral values to live by ultimately destroys him. And he begins to accept bribes, which is a practice among the government officials, but does so ineptly and gets caught. So, this is what the story is, and the novel ends with Obi's conviction. It ends with Obi's conviction. Yes. Okay. So now we will go to the third novel, that is Arrow of God, which was published in 1964. Arrow of God is Echibe's third novel. And in this novel, he returns to Nigeria's past. And as we have seen in Things Fall Apart, he explores the impact of change, profound and traumatic change on the individuals and the communities. Arrow of God is set in the Igbo territory in somewhere in eastern Nigeria, where this novel narrates the story of Ezulu. Who is Ezulu? He is a tribal priest. Whatever students I am telling you, इन सब के ऊपर क्वेश्चंस आ चुके हैं नेट में, क्योंकि हम पढ़ाएंगे वही जो बहुत नेट एसेंट्रिक होगा. मैंने पहले भी आपको शुरुआत में बताया है. सो यहां तक पूछा था कि एजिलियो जो कि एक ट्राइबल प्रीस्ट है वो किस नॉवेल में पाया गया है. ऑप्शन 4. तो आपको टिक करना होगा एरो ऑफ गॉड. सो वॉट एवर आई एम स्पीकिंग, इट इज वेरी प्रेशियस फॉर यू स्टूडेंट्स. So it narrates the story of Ezelu, a tribal priest who is faced with the gradual loss of his authority. Why? उसकी अथॉरिटी का लॉस क्यों हो गया? क्योंकि क्रिश्चियनिटी का एडवेंट हो गया. बिकॉज ऑफ द एडवेंट ऑफ क्रिश्चियनिटी एंड द एंक्रोचमेंट ऑफ colonialism and the emergence of intra-tribal rivalries. So when Captain Winterbottom, the district commissioner, appoints him as a chief warrant officer as part of the new British effort to decentralize the political power and impose the indirect rule, Ezelu, यही जो priest है, rejects the patronizing offer. And he is jailed for disobeying the imperial authority. But he is but because he is jailed by the because of this work, his vision is forced in isolation. So, if you talk about Chinua Achebe, to Achebe, we can say that Chinua Achebe also rejects the pseudo universalist. यूनिवर्सल से बना है यूनिवर्सलिस्ट. He rejects the pseudo का मतलब होता है false. Pseudo universalist percepts and a political pretensions of the Western aesthetic orthodoxy. Indeed, he insists that the artist has an obligation to remain committed to the well-being of his or her people, and the most compelling duty of the current generation of the African intellectuals. And according to Achebe, is to help their fellow Africans regain the dignity, कि वो अपनी dignity को वापस लाएं, and self-esteem को वापस लाएं, which was lost during the colonial years. So this is all the novels of Chinua Achebe. So students, could you understand this initial level of black literature with Chinua Achebe? Any problem? आपको समझ में आया? हो सकता है बहुत बच्चों ने ब्लैक लिटरेचर को पहली बार पढ़ा हो, फर्स्ट टाइम, क्योंकि ये बहुत ही रिच लिटरेचर है. नो क्लास चल रही है निसर्गा, इज नॉट स्टॉप्ड. आपके तरफ नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम है, आपके तरफ नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम है. यू हैव द नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम इन साउथ, आई थिंक इन कर्नाटका. सो नो इश्यूज, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, आप इसको बाद में ले सकते हैं. सो यस स्टूडेंट्स, सो टुमारो वी विल कंटिन्यू विद two things. Fiction part, half time I will go with fiction part, 3 novelists according to the depth, and half time we will cover the black literature. इससे होगा क्या कि आपका 2 लिटरेचर साइड बाय साइड कंप्लीट होगा और आपको भी थोड़ा मोनोटोनी से आप हटेंगे. हमें पढ़ाने में भी थोड़ा सा मोनोटोनी से, हम एक तरफ ब्लैक हम पढ़ाएंगे और एक तरफ इधर नॉवेल्स पढ़ाएंगे. सो आई थिंक दिट विल बी गुड फॉर यू ऑल्सो. Okay, so students, you have written that yes, we understood the black literature well, and yes, now you can go to my study material. You open that African literature file, go to the Chinua Achebe. Now, because notes बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है, you have all the details. आपको अच्छे समझ में आ गया है, दोबारा भी इस recording को आप सुन सकते हैं. So that when you go to the interviews, so ये जो listening है ना, that actually goes into your subconscious. तो यहां से वो निकल करके आएगी, एंड यू कैन स्पीक ऑन चिनुआ अचीबे, यू कैन स्पीक ऑन ब्लैक लिटरेचर, यू कैन स्पीक अबाउट द पोस्ट कॉलोनियल थ्योरीज, यू कैन स्पीक अबाउट द पोस्ट कॉलोनियल लिटरेचर्स. ऐसा था, वैसा होता था, ये ब्लैक लिटरेचर कैसे थे, चिनुआ अचीबे ने कौन कौन सी नॉवेल लिखी, क्या क्या उसकी थीम थी, क्या क्या उसके टर्म्स थे, कौन कौन से इसके प्रोटैगनिस्ट थे, क्या क्या हुआ. तो ये सारी चीजें आपके दिमाग में होंगी व्हेन यू आर लिसनिंग टू मी. सो मीट यू वंस अगेन टुमारो स्टूडेंट्स विद योर होमवर्क. होमवर्क जरूर करिएगा रोज. टेक केयर. थैंक यू.